They walk in that room, they become yours. And you got this energy inside your soul that says, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt. I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 179 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got here this morning, early in the morning, top of the morning. Sharon Wright is in the building out there in Blandon, PA. We got John Few, Chester, South Carolina. I was just down the road from you on Thursday in Rock Hill. We got Sandra Vello, Mona Abomolak in the building. AP Patrick Lawrence, Bloomfield, Connecticut. Mona, I said that one already. Scott Wiley out there in Chester, West Virginia. Ricardo Yanis, my man, he's out there in Texas, man. We got Grace Castaneda, Kyle, Texas. Takesha High, Virginia. Tashika Truesdale in Atlanta, the ATL. We got Arlette Johnson. Good morning to you, Assistant Principal of the Year in Connecticut. We got Rodney Richardson, Akima Dawson, Marsha Poe, Dr. Rella Hicks. We got Peter Finch, Superintendent Finch. Good to communicate with you briefly over the other day as well. I think it was yesterday. Where we at? We got Golf RWT, John Hurix. I think I said Principal Otis Kitchen II, MPA Jaguars, better known as Principal Josh Tovar. We got Dr. Sheikah Houston in the building out there in Chester, like I said, just down the road from you in Rock Hill on Thursday. Man, what a time I had with them too. We got Toya White. We got Principal Sherrod Laws. I saw the comment you left with Principal Hurt, and hopefully you got that fire restored. I think you did, because you said that in the comments, sir. We got Village Leadership Group with Dr. Roz Gaskins in the building. Michael Benton. We got Darnell McElveen, Hotep up there in Minneapolis. Dr. Principal Tammy Taylor in the building. Heather Mack, the Queen, is in the building. Kimberly Broughton Kafele, my wife, man, she's there. She's there in the castle. Right, we got what we got. We got Canella Rise in the building. Kamula Tillman. Oh man, that's my buddy out there in Union. Every time I see somebody from Union, Sister Tillman, you know, I gotta smile, man. I gotta smile. Every time I think Union, see Union, I just gotta smile, man. And in all transparency, I've told that story all over America. Right. Let's see. Dr. Stacy Ann B. Good to see you, by the way. Dr. Stacy Ann B. in the building. Trelana Jones in the building. Kimmy Davis Daly is in the building. Justin McMillan. He said, good morning from Colorado. Now, you know I'm going to be watching again. Hey, let me just say this while y'all on here now. So those of you that were planning to watch Colorado against USC, and you know we're going to conflict with the time, just have your little device next to you and you can see both. Don't leave us and go watch the game. Like my TV is like see my hands? It's right there. It's right there. So I could peep over the computer and see it, but you know, my focus is here. And you know, Colorado, Buffalo's Coach Prime will never take my focus away from this work, man. It's right here. I'm getting ready to get it started, y'all. Jocelyn Nelson's in the building. Principal Sean Hurt, he was dropping them nuggets and also Create and Educate. And by the way, Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock, Facebook Live every Saturday morning. Create and Educate with doctors Sheikah Houston and Tammy Taylor, 10:30. Facebook Live. Myself, 10:55. Josh Tovar, Dean Packard with Unlock the Middle at 7 o'clock on Sunday nights, all Facebook Live. All of those are Eastern times as well. I'm going to get it started, y'all. Taisha Williams Vaughn is in the building. Principal Doc McKeever Jeter's in the building. Glad you're doing so much better, Doc. Jacqueline Harriet's in the building from Nova Scotia. I'll be up there soon, y'all. I'll be up there in October. I can't wait. Marcus Scott the fourth. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I think I'm gonna get ready, get it going. Veranda Williams is in the building. Edwin Garcia. I think I'm gonna end with that with my brother from Jersey. Oh, I got one more I gotta say. I see Demetrius Scott, Dr. Demetrius Scott in the building. Oh, I see Newark, man. I gotta end with Newark. I see Taja Cook in the building. I think I'm gonna end it right there, y'all. A lot of people I know on here, but I can't keep calling these names, man. I do need to say Yolanda Nesbitt up there in Michigan, though, because I've been to her school twice, man. Good to see you, Principal Nesbitt. Look here, y'all. Enough. Let's go. Let me say to everybody formally now, good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 179. Can you believe that, man? This was supposed to be 18 weeks and I'm gone. 179 of the what used to be the virtual AP Leadership Academy, but now that even morphed into the AP and New Principals Academy. And let me ask you a question. Yeah, I got that same question that I ask you every week. How y'all doing this week? How you feel, right? You know, and it's you know, people, we got these peaks and valleys, man, and everything in between. Sometimes we feeling great. You know, a couple of days this week, I didn't wake up, you know, with my fire, you know, for various different reasons, you know, but I got it back, you know, but getting it back, and this is key. Getting it back wasn't necessarily me waiting for it to come back. Getting it back was me having an internal discussion with me. I want y'all to hear me. I'm having that internal discussion with me. I'm not going to just wait, man. When does my good mood come back? When does my fire come back? When does my excitement for life come back? You know, sometimes you just wake up wrong, right? Or sometimes it's just stuff going on, you know, whatever, right? But now I got to be intentional. I want you to hear me. I got to be intentional about getting me back to me. Y'all hear me? Getting me back to me so that I can be me as I know me, as I desire to be. That's critical, right? So, and I wasn't purposely trying to spit no bars, y'all. It just worked out that way, right? So make sure that however you feel, and you're going to do what you got to do to get yourself to where you need to be, because ultimately in school leadership, you must be on fire. So let me tell you how I feel right now. I'm on fire! Woo! Woo! Every Saturday morning, I need that release. And when I got to do this in a hotel, I can't get it out of me. Hey, man, glad to see everybody here. Hit that share button. Hit that repost button. Hit that retweet button. We on 4 platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter or X, Facebook, and YouTube Live. So make sure you hit whatever it is. Tag somebody. Post or share to them Facebook groups for leaders. Do all that stuff, all that good stuff that gets us out there. And hit that like button, man. Them algorithms, man. That's how we let the world know. Hit that like button. Even if you don't like it, hit it anyway. Like. That's how we get this out here, because let me tell y'all something. And I got the big time guests here, so I ain't going to be long. It's people out here that need this desperately, and they don't even know it exists. I know it. I'm in these schools, man, and I meet these struggling leaders, and then I'm like, well, do you watch the Saturday Academy? Here's what they say. What's that? What's that? 100. I mean, we in year 4. What's that? We got the answers sitting on the channel, man, the YouTube channel, but there's still people that don't know that this exists, right? So hit that like button, man. Hit all them those shares and retweets and reposts and all that tags, all of that stuff. Let them know we are here. All right, real quick, y'all. Shout out to Dr. Lauren Wells. Y'all remember her? She was with me too about a month ago in her company Creed Strategies. We did a panel discussion at the Source of Knowledge bookstore in Newark last Sunday night. Oh my God, man. It was on fire. It was on fire. If you want to see it, I have the whole thing on my Facebook page. Go to Principal Kafele on Facebook, and the whole we were up there for like 2 hours, man. So just check it out. It was a great discussion. I was the moderator, but you know it's hard for me to be moderator, man. I got opinions, man. I got thoughts. So I stepped out of that moderator role quite a few times to express myself. Shout out to Sullivan Middle School in Rock Hill, North Carolina, under the leadership of Dr. Jacqueline Persinski, man. Man, she getting it done, man. We had a great time with her staff all day long. So shout out to Sullivan Middle in Rock Hill, North Carolina. Welcome to the first timers. But if it's your first time, that means you missed 178 sessions. So just go to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That's important. Hit the subscribe button. Become a member of a family of 19,300 subscribers, right? There's a lot of people that subscribe to it. So become a part of that. And then binge watch all the 178 sessions that you missed. Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. Don't let this be your last time. Hey, y'all, 2 more weeks. I'll be keynoting the ASCD Leadership Summit in Grapevine, Texas. I want to see you in the building, man. That's Grapevine, Texas, ASCD. You know, that's the big dog. So ASCD, their Leadership Summit annual. It's always at this time of the year, like October, November-ish. So it'll be October 13th. It's from October 12th through the 15th. But the opening keynote is on the 13th. And then I'm going to do a book signing immediately following. And, you know, we take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So come on the Grapevine. Go to ascd.org and register. Again, ascd.org. Register and enjoy me in Grapevine on October the 13th. My books, man, I'm not going to show you all these books. I'm just going to bring 2 out real quick. The newest one, The Assistant Principal Identity. If you don't have a copy, Protecting Your Leadership Mindset, Fervor, and Authenticity. If you don't have a copy, go to Amazon, get yourself a copy. But then this is the book. This is the foundation of all my assistant principal work. So the Assistant Principal 50, critical questions for meaningful leadership, professional growth, and professional growth. So get yourself both copies, along with all my other books. I've written 14, but there are 9 that are available. You can get them on Amazon. And let's see. Make sure again that you like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy. That's it. I got a quick word for you, and then I'm going to bring up my guests, and I'm calling this my end of the month monologue, right? Hit that share button. Let them know I'm ready. The end of the month monologue. And my question is the question that I created a few weeks ago when I went solo. And by the way, y'all really like that solo one, man. I got 6,000 views on YouTube alone, right? Over 6,000 views on YouTube alone, and then we got another 3,000-4,000 on Facebook. And I don't even know what the Twitter and the LinkedIn are, but y'all like that one, man. It was called "What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally?" Right? And man, y'all made that thing go viral on YouTube, man. So I appreciate that. I thank everybody that took a look at it or watched it. Some people were telling me they were watching it several times. So that's a good thing. We're talking about instructional leadership. So my message this morning, real quick, short one, end of the month message, because this is September 30. When you go back to school, it's going to be a new month. And my question is, what was your value to the teachers that you supervise instructionally over the course of the last month? Let that resonate for a moment. Let it marinate. What was your value to the teachers that you supervise instructionally over the course of the last month? Hold up your mirror. Like, you know, when they drink, they say, hold up your glasses, right? I'm saying, hold up your mirror. Flip it toward yourself and ask yourself, did a teacher grow because of my instructional leadership, instructional coaching? Did a teacher grow because I'm in the building? Did a teacher grow because I'm in this role of leadership? Did a teacher grow because I have an instructional focus? Did a teacher grow because I have a coaching focus? Did a teacher grow because I saw fit to interact with teachers instructionally? Did a teacher grow because I spent quality time in classrooms observing instruction? Did a teacher grow because I provided feedback on a regular basis throughout the course of the month? So ask yourself, was I this? You and your team, your administrative team, your instructional coaches, was I this? Or did I barely get into classrooms? Did I barely give feedback? Did I barely provide a platform for coaching, right? Who was I? That's the first part. Let's go to the second part. October. Who will I be? See, who will I be in the month of October? How will I have elevated my game in October versus what I did in September? Who will I be as instructional leader going into October? Because the bottom line, if you're a leader, you have pressure on you. Hear me, somebody. If you're a leader, instructionally, that's a part of your work. But if you are a school leader, that means you have pressure just based on the fact that you're in that capacity. What do you mean, Kafele? I mean that if because you chose let me change that. Because you chose school leadership, that means that there is pressure on you to elevate achievement levels. Some people may not embrace it as pressure. Some people may say, hey, that's what I want to do. However you want to look at it. But the bottom line is you're not going to stay in the job if those achievement levels are not growing, as some people would say test scores. I don't want to use that language, right? You're not going to stay there. They're going to move on from you. Just like in the sports world, if the quarterback, if the running back, if the receiver, if the defensive end, if the cornerback, if the safety, whomever is not measuring up to expectation, they're going to move on and find their replacement very quickly. Somebody that gives them a better chance to win. Well, if your students are not achieving, if your students are not growing academically, they're going to find your replacement. So there is pressure on you from day one when they appoint you at the Board of Education meeting. So I'm saying to you, you cannot afford not to be the instructional leader in your building or part of the instructional leadership team. You got to be a part of that team. You've got to operate in that fashion. I mean, yeah, you could pat yourself on the new robotics program, the new engineering program, the new this program, the new that program. Yeah, give yourself a pat. You did something big for young people. But at the end of the day, your state, your county, your city, your district leadership, they ain't looking at that. They glad you got it, but they want to see are the students reading at grade level? Are the students computing at grade level as reflected in standardized assessments? That's what they're going to look at. So the question is, who are you in that capacity? Who were you in September? And who will you be moving into October? Now, keep in mind, as I transition to my guest, I'll be doing part 2 of what is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally on December 2nd, right? So that's the next time I'm going solo. So stay tuned for that. But right now, let me tell you something before I bring my guest up. I've been looking at her the whole time, but let me tell you something before I bring her up. Her topic today, you better tell somebody she's here too. Don't think that her topic of restorative circles is something separate and apart from the message I just delivered. Her part, in terms of the role she plays, is what allows that teacher to be that teacher that teacher needs to be. But if that part's not there, then it puts that much more pressure on you. So we getting ready to alleviate all that today. So I want to bring up my guest here, man. I'm so excited that she's in the building. I got Denise Holliday, mostly known as Circle Mama. Hey, Denise, glad to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored, as I said, to be here and to share a word, to share this game changer, because it is a game changer. It becomes a game changer when we choose to hear, to see, and to value our babies.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm going to tell you all how to see some videos of our guests later, but first I want you to hear her live right here. Let me let them know who you are via the bio you sent me. She sent me a short bio, y'all, so I won't be reading the bio all day on this session today. Denise formerly worked as a co-trainer for the 5-day restorative discipline coordinating training and the 2-day restorative discipline readiness training for administrators offered by TEA and the University of Texas. Denise has over 20 years experience in education and was the former restorative discipline coordinator and educational assistant at Manor ISD's disciplinary alternative education program campus. While serving at the DAEP, she used her experience and skill set in the Circle model to counsel at-risk youth and proactively intervene in crises. Denise has been instrumental in developing systems that have facilitated successful transitions for students as they enter the DAEP and exit back to their home campus. And let me say that again, and exit back to their home campus. This exceptional experience allows her to help grasp the necessary mindset for implementing this approach successfully. Finally, Denise concentrates on training students, staff, parents, families, and community members in the power of the circle. Let me say that again, the power of the circle. She has served as a parent educator in Austin Independent School District, working with teen mothers and fathers. Denise not only leads circles on the campus, but also lives out circles in all areas of her life, thus earning her the nickname Circle Mama. I present to all of you, to the family, the AP and New Principals Academy family, Denise Holliday, Circle Mama. Let's jump right into it, Denise. Putting the bio to the side, I got a question. I ask every guest this question, all 100 some odd people that have been on here. Putting the bio to the side, as an educator, who is Denise Holliday?
Who is Denise Holliday? First off, I'm a mom, proud mom. I'm a daughter. But I am a walking testament of what it means to have an educator who sees you, who invests in you. I was raised in the hood. I was that kid. I did the most. I had challenges growing up. My mom was a single mom for so long, and as a student, I had academic challenges. My big thing was to fight. I was a fighter. Because if you step my way, let me tell you something. I'm going to get you before you can get me, right? That's teachers, that's students, that's whoever it is. But I stand here today, and when I speak to students, I let them know, you do not have to become and sit in your circumstances. We can break those chains. We can break that cycle and know that you are worthy and you're enough. I'm a fighter. I'm an advocate. I'm a lover of all people. I'm shy, believe it or not, to speak in front of others. I get very nervous, and most people think there is no way that you are shy and you are intimidated to speak in front of others. Yes, that's me. But most importantly, I'm a lover of all humans.
The lover of all humans. Powerful stuff. You know, Denise, your bio, I know you initially through an organization that you co-founded, the National Educators for Restorative Practices organization. And talk to us about your work within that organization.
Absolutely. So with National Educators for Restorative Practice, I originally started doing the work with TEA and the University of Texas. And I met a gentleman by the name of Kevin Curtis, who also was part of doing that training. And as we traveled the state and did trainings, we gravitated toward each other. And I remember thinking, man, this gentleman, man, he's powerful. He has a powerful message, a powerful voice. And I remember always thinking, man, he took us to church.
Mm.
So we connected. Once we connected, thinking about what restorative is, that was a lot of theory based. And as we begin to think about what educators have on their plate, how do we provide something that is more digestible for educators? That was circle heavy, right? Circle requires a lot of time. We had to take a step back and say, how can we help teachers understand you can't restore something that you don't have?
Mm.
Hence, a relationship. So the relationship piece was the focus of what we needed to do. So we travel, we train educators with 4 or 5 proactive tools that takes less than 3 minutes to connect and build relationships with students. Now, as I travel and provide these trainings, most importantly, I want them to get an experience. I want them to experience something that is so great that it feels like a gift to them, that they want to go back and give that gift to those students. And that's just being genuine, letting their students know that they matter, building those relationships, making those connections. And that can be very challenging and uncomfortable for a lot of educators. Like, where do we go with that? What does that mean for me to build a relationship with a student? And how do I do that? We provide them an opportunity to know how to do it. The tools gives you a way to do that that takes less than 3 minutes.
Wow, we're gonna break all that down. You know, Denise, you are obviously passionate about at-risk youth, but I think you are equally passionate about the possibilities for at-risk youth, you know, as a result of the work that you do with them. So I was looking at a few things on YouTube, looking at all these videos off throughout the week and so forth. And I want to look at a few things here. You said there was this video, and it's a few years, but it's still you. And you said with some very strong emotion in the video that I reviewed that restorative work is personal for you, right? And you shed tears as you said this. Why the emotion, and why is it so personal for you, Denise Holliday?
Woo. I know exactly what video you're talking about. It's personal because I was that student that educators didn't invest in, that didn't believe deserved the time of day. In fact, I was told I would never amount to be anything. And as I hear that playing in my head, and then I meet these students, I see me and them. And when I step into a classroom and I see a teacher having those challenges with a student that looks like me, that had the same behaviors and tendencies that I did, it brought me back to when I was a kid, when I was a student. The one thing that we fail to realize, we don't know what our babies have going on by the time they make it to our door. Let me say that one more time.
Yeah.
We have no idea what our babies are going through by the time they make it to our door. They're coming to school with backpacks full of trauma, full of fear, full of insecurity, full of, I just want to be loved. I just want to be seen. And sometimes that was me. I took that same backpack sometimes to school. And so as an educator, I'm going to help that baby unpack that backpack because it's so heavy, because I know what it's like. And I'm going to put in that backpack the things that I needed when I was a student, having those same challenges, those same struggles. We have to meet them where they're at.
Whew. You know, when I get into the whole equity discussion, and I say to folks, look, what are you afraid of? You know, all this political hysteria around this world. Around this word. I said, equity is just meeting young people where they are, as they are, and that's what you're saying, right? And so many of us miss that because we get caught up into this nonsense about what equity is not. And here you are, and you said it passionately. I just got to meet them where they're at, right? And that's really at the core of the work we do. How do we go about meeting young people where they are, as opposed to pretending they're all in the same place, right? And then give them the same message at the same time, at the same rate, at the same pace, as opposed to respecting their individuality.
Ooh,
Yeah,
individuality. I remember so many times educators saying, oh, you need to do this, or you need to do it this way, or you need to speak this way, or you need to, and not just educators, even adults in my life today. But one thing about me is this work has allowed me to heal. Let me say that again. This work has allowed me to heal. So when I think about all of the things that people try and put on me and ask me to, you need to change this, you need to change that, absolutely not. I will not, because I love who I am. And that's exactly what I tell my babies.
Yeah.
Love who you are. You are enough. Don't you dare allow anyone to make you feel less than. Yeah, maybe the kids, they have this insecurity with the clothes that they wear. And I always tell my students, look, those clothes don't define you. That does not make you who you are. But we know teenagers have their social circles and there's a lot of pressure on them. But where's the people speaking to them and saying, you know what? Those Jordans don't make you who you are, baby. It's your heart that makes you who you are. It's your actions. It's the growth that makes you who you are. And we must speak that into our babies. We have to speak that into them. So yes, when I think about, conforming, there's no way I can't, I will not. But what I will do is I will kick down doors for students to be seen, heard, and valued.
Yeah, to be seen, heard, and valued. I want to stay. It's interesting. You mentioned that working with the young people healed you, and that was actually my next question. So I'm going to stay there. Talk to us before we get into the nuts and the bolts of the restorative circles. I'm not even there yet. I'm still just we just talking about you right now, right? And so folks on the call, fam out there, we gonna get to the nuts, the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts. But right now, I want to learn who our presenter is this morning, our guest is this morning. So it healed you. Working with young people, working with at-risk youth, as some people would say, at-promise youth, as I tend to use the both interchangeably. What does that look like, Denise? Like it healed you. What are you saying? What do you mean? Because there may be someone out there that's not being healed through the process of working with young people. Educate us on that.
So before I get into that, I want to say this. There's a question that's asked. I wish my teacher knew, right? And so then the students answer that question. And then someone asked a question one day, I wish my students knew. And when they asked it, I was thinking, and I remember going through a real challenging time as a beginner educator. I was experiencing some darkness and some challenges that I didn't think that I would make it through. And when they asked that question, I immediately thought, I wish my students knew that they just may have saved my life.
Mm.
And I have no problem saying that to a student. I have no problem saying, you know what? You've been everything to me, but what my healing looks like, um, uh, because of the students, is that unconditional love that they give you, because that's what they want. They see you, they keep it 100. Being able to sit and hear and speak from them, and they speak their truth without judgment. I learn from them. And what it did for me, it allowed me to rewrite my dictionary on what empathy really meant. Yes, we see empathy in the dictionary and it has that definition. But when we think about intrinsically, what is empathy? Not everybody experiences empathy.
Mm.
It allowed me to rewrite my dictionary. What does empathy really mean? What does listening really mean?
Mm.
What does keeping it 100 in their eyes really mean? They allowed me to just be myself without judgment. And they loved that about me.
Mm.
And the love that they gave, the words that they shared, and the fact that they trusted me. Each time I got to experience that, a piece of me healed because I knew I was walking in my purpose.
Wow.
Finally.
Wow. Wow. I can relate to that. On a smaller scale, this pandemic, when we were all locked in our homes, and I was sitting in this chair talking into this camera to school staffs and conferences every single day, including Sundays. When I got back out on the road, see, I got used to speaking to audiences without having a suit on. Because I'm here, I'm not gonna do that thing like we used to see on television commercials. Guy got a suit up top and jeans underneath or shorts or whatever. So I wasn't. I was wearing polo shirts and stuff, and then obviously my Negro League jerseys on Saturdays. So when it was time to get back on the road in 2021, I said I'm not putting those suits back on because I don't like them. I was wearing them because I felt it was the proper thing to wear as a speaker, and I didn't wear them. And I didn't wear I haven't worn a tie since 2020. And I said, look, so I go out on these stages, I roll up my sleeves, and I don't look the way I used to look. And I feel like renewed, right? Like I released something. Like let me just be me. I'm still flirting with going out there with some jeans on, right? I ain't go there yet, but it's coming, right? And but it's that I released something that allowed me to be a lot more authentic in terms of my appearance, right? And so on a lesser scale from what you're saying, but having that authenticity and just feeling healed that I can go out and be me, and there's still people that request my services, right? So I love it. Great stuff. Let's keep going. You talk about facilitating student relationships that go far beyond the surface, like taking it deep, but then sustaining that depth that you're able to attain, that deeper understanding. So here's what I want to ask you: why does it matter that you're able to take it deep, and how can our viewers take that back to the school in terms of developing those deeper relationships than those surface relationships where I really don't know you? Talk to us about that.
Why does it matter that I can take it deep? Because one, I go deep, right? Right? Like there's no fear in me sharing my truths, right? And if I'm sitting with students and I'm speaking, but I'm only willing to share just a little piece of me, then guess what? I'm only going to get a little piece of them. The fact that I'm not offended by a student speaking his or her truth is the thing. I think a lot of educators, when they think about students speaking their truth and how they speak their truth, sometimes it feels like it's offensive, right? But the student only knows how to be who they are. And when we begin to foster that you are enough just the way you are, that student becomes more and more confident, right? And then they begin to understand how to articulate what it is that they're feeling and what they want. Most importantly, it's trust. We must move at the speed of trust when it comes to our babies. If we haven't made any deposits, why should we expect to make those withdrawals? We have to make deposits into our babies so that when it's time that we need something from them, right? We get it. We're teaching them how to be in relationship when we are authentic and we keep it 100. Let's say that. When we keep it 100, we are modeling what it is to be in relationship, in healthy relationships.
Wow. You said if there are no deposits, then why are we expecting withdrawals? This is a leadership audience. Hey, y'all. Hey, fam. Y'all leaders out there. And some of you are aspiring leaders. You're not in the position yet. So you use this as a part of your preparation to get there. But you think about it, we've heard this before, but we getting it in this particular context. You go to the bank with your ATM card and you want some money. But ain't no money if you didn't make the deposit. So now you want student outcomes. Everything in my monologue before we got started with who you are instructionally as a coach of teachers, right? But what deposit did you make? You want to withdraw, meaning student outcomes, teacher outcomes, but what's the deposit? What you put in, what you invest in order to get those withdrawals that you want. Man, that matters, man.
Yes.
Denise, you go ahead. Okay.
I was saying yes. Well, I think deposit, and then take it a little further. Let's think about this.
Yeah.
We're continuing to withdraw. We're wanting something from students, but we're not giving, right? That goes beyond the relationship, right? It impacts the learning. Because when it's time for academics to show up and we've made no deposits and we have this baby sitting in a chair that is going to give you pushback because maybe they don't feel as confident academically as you think they should be.
Yeah.
And they shut down. We're not giving anything to them or finding out what it is exactly that they need.
That's right.
So we won't get the performance. We're going to get the kid that shuts down because they're intimidated or they're in fear of that they will be judged by their teachers, by their peers, and by their administrators.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When something happens in the class, where do they go? They're going to the principal's office. They're not going to go to the principal's office and say, you know what? I'm struggling academically and I'm afraid to answer that question, but I have all of this going on at home. And I'm also afraid to let my teacher know that this is happening because I've been told and threatened, don't you dare share anything that's going on at home.
Right.
So our babies are sitting in those seats with so much. And so it is time for us to start depositing into our children.
Deposit, man. You know, Denise, it's common that in life, in education, or beyond, just in life, that conversation about this word that has become cliche. But as I tell everybody, I don't care how cliche it has become, it is still powerful, it's still relevant. And that word is the why, right? Purpose. So all of us out here, I'm going to assume, I'm talking to the fam out here now, I'm going to assume that you have a why, that you are deeply rooted, you are deeply grounded, you are deeply planted in your why. Because if you're not, then it's very easy to uproot you, and then you're just wandering, you're lost, right? Because you weren't planted in good soil, root and deeply planted at that. So I discovered about you, Denise, that your why is voice, right? Voice. And an interesting thing, I want to let me pause it right there and say, just use voice in isolation. So you say, my why is voice. And I understand what that means when you say voice. But then you said, and giving voice back to everyone who has lost their voice. And that took just the voice in isolation to another level for me, as I heard you say that in a video, right? That I want to, my why is voice, but helping young people to regain their voice, those who have lost their voice. And as a lot of people are saying on the thread, and I'm going to agree with it, they're adults. They're saying, people on the thread are saying, this message is not just for the young people, the teacher student, but the adult, right? So adults who have lost their voice. Hey, listen, let me preach real quick because this ain't about me today. Hey, somebody out there.
Come on.
There's somebody out there, you lost your voice on your job via your relationship with a superior. You went in there with big time voice. Like you got a lot to say, you got a lot on your mind, and you got a lot that you want to do, but somebody stifled that. And you allowed that. And I'm going to say that to you because we're in a safe space right now. You allowed that to happen because they don't know who you are and who I'm talking about. So you allowed them to stifle your voice. Y'all hear me? Because I'm going to bring this thing full circle. Then I'm going to go right to Denise. You allow some supervisor, some assistant superintendent, some director to stifle your voice. Maybe to stifle your confidence in yourself. Maybe to stifle what you thought you believed in. But guess what? A huge part of this platform's purpose is to restore your voice, to let you come on here on Saturday or watch these videos on YouTube and bring that hope back in you, bring that fire back in you, bring that belief back in you, bring that confidence back in you, because you can't do this work at a high level if you don't have a voice, if you don't have your voice. So with that said, Denise, because it ain't about me, let's get back to you. So you said your why is voice, and giving voice back to everyone who has lost their voice, which I consider extremely powerful. So what I want you to do, what does that look like, Denise? Holla.
Yeah, I got you. And I know exactly where I'm going with this. And I remember this when you started talking about that. This is what brought it up for me. I was working on a campus, working with a family that had some challenges, right? Mom was going through some abuse. The kids were seeing it. They were on my campus. I had a bond with mom. In fact, when she came to enroll, I'll never forget handing her the paperwork that was necessary for her to fill out so her two babies could be on our campus for the time they needed to spend there. Now, when she first came in, mama cursed me out from A to Z, right? And she had her kids with her. I did not take that personal. I immediately went to, this mama has not been heard. Somebody has shut this mama down and she does not feel like she has a voice. So I asked my administrator to take the baby somewhere, get them a snack. I set mama down. I moved that paperwork and I said, Hey, baby. I just reintroduced myself. And the first thing I asked mom was, have you had anything to eat today? Or can I get you something to drink? The minute I said that, the tears began to roll down her face.
Mm.
And this is what she said. She said, I can't ever think of a time that I've had my kids in school or any campus that any educator has ever asked me what I needed.
Mm.
In fact, I'm shut down so often. So she felt like her voice was snatched from her. Her only other way to communicate her frustration was to curse, was to lash out. And I got that. Me and that mama, she still calls me Mama Holliday today.
Mm.
She regained her voice that day because I said, I want to hear from you. Now, fast forward, we're have her babies. There was a situation. Police showed up on the campus, and I remember a superintendent driving by and seeing this. We had some issues with this family because they were going through a lot. The superintendent pulled up, stopped. I'm standing out there. Mom's there. The kids are talking to an officer. And I remember the superintendent saying, is this the same family? How can we get rid of them? They need to go. What can I do? What paperwork do I need to sign? Now, here's the day that I regained my voice and chose to never, ever stop speaking and advocating for what is right for kids. As he said that, I said, you see that van over there? Mom had pulled up, opened the van. He said, yes. I said, that's where they sleep every night. 5 people in that van. You see those chips sitting in that floorboard? That's what they're eating before, that's their dinner at night. He's okay, he shakes his head. I said, now I want you to think about sleeping in a car, having that as your nutrition, and coming to run a school district.
Mm.
What would that look like for you?
Mm.
I said, Lord, he said, I said, here goes. I'm fired now. He walks over to the officer and the 2 young men. I don't know what he said, and I don't care. He flagged the officers up. They ended up leaving. The babies didn't go. He came back over and he said, I want to thank you because I have no idea of what my families are going through. I'm only making assumptions. So here's what I want. What can I do to support this mom? He called social workers. I ended up putting mama up in a hotel for a couple of days so she could get rest. She was tired. But then he brought in other resources to make sure that mom and those kids had a place to stay, or they were connected with someone who could provide resources for them. So voice is important.
Voice.
And I will never, ever, when I speak and I use my voice to advocate for others, that gives power and permission for adults and students to do the same with their voice. Yes, power and permission.
Power, permission. Wow, strong stuff. You know, I didn't keep scrolling because I wanted to put something back up here. I want you to see this. Noor Abdullah Davis, you have no idea what you just ignited in me, Principal Kafele. You are on point. Being stifled for so long has created a fear in me and has shut me down. But listening to you and Denise today makes me feel alive again. See, that's why you're here.
That's why I say this is personal.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's about giving voice back to the voiceless. And I want to say to you, You keep pushing. Is it Miss Davis or Mr. Davis?
I think it's Miss. I'm not sure.
Miss Davis, you're back. You're back and you're strong. And you got this and you're worthy. You are valuable. And those we allow ourselves, I did it myself, to allow people to get in our heads, and then we shut down and we become someone we don't even know. But you go ahead and you let that beautiful soul and spirit shine bright, because you are needed in this world.
That's right.
You are needed in this world. So come on, mama. You got this.
Got this.
You got this.
Woo! Love it. Love it. Love it. I see y'all on here. Y'all dropping some comments, man. I love it. Keep them coming too. I read them all later on, like my man Sean and Sheikah and Tammy and Josh. Hey, let's get into some nuts and bolts, Denise. Restorative practices. There's, it's interesting in this field of education. There's a million different definitions to a million different things. So you could be on a call with Denise Holliday and then someone else later, and one may hear different variations of whatever this particular topic is. I don't know if you know. Yeah, I think you would know from Twitter, Denise. I refer to you as and I was intentional about the letter a restorative practices guru. But I only use A because I didn't want anybody to come at me.
Right.
Because I know your work. And I was very comfortable with using the. Right. But I said, let me use A. I know you got a partner in Kevin and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to put you in a situation either. But I know who you are. Every guest I bring on here, I know who they are. So I know I got an authority on this platform today. So I want y'all, listen, y'all, get your pens out or your computer, whatever you got, your phone. This is the 21st century. So whatever you're using. Because we getting ready to give you that stuff you need for when you get back on Monday to talk to your staff and ultimately your students. Talk to us first before I get into that. Restorative practices, restorative justice, restorative circles, and then the word circles in isolation. Break down. What is the difference? What do these mean?
Yes. So restorative practice. It's a way of practicing the restorative work. When we look at restorative justice, that's the foundation from which all of this is possible. Restorative justice. And restorative justice is victim-centered and offender-sensitive. So that's the hard work. So we're looking at victim and offenders and restorative justice mainly. You look at restorative justice as a justice system. It's a way of bringing two parties together that have been harmed, and we're going to sit down and willingly have a conversation about how we can repair that harm if it is possible. But it's voluntary. They have to be willing to do that. When we look at restorative practice, it's a way of practicing the work of restorative, right? You're not going to see as much when we think about victim and offender. It can be anywhere from restorative conversations, a restorative conference, not necessarily harm has been done, but it's a way of being. And then when we look at restorative discipline, they use restorative discipline as a way to combat discipline. Now, restorative is not about the bad kids. Let's get that right. There's a misunderstanding that when you hear restorative, you think about restorative, or restorative is coming your way, it's for the bad kids. No, restorative is for us all. I want y'all to see restorative as a way of being. Ubuntu. I am because we are. It's humanity. Restorative allows us to put humanity first. How are we going to see one another? How are we going to be with one another? And then we think we're doing restorative work, but we haven't did any of the pre-work to build community or build relationship. Then we want to get in circle and it goes all the way left because we haven't done the work necessary to be in that space yet. Have you gotten to know the students? Do you know if they even want to be in that space? Do you even want to be in that space, right? Dealing with conflict makes us all sometimes feel a little bit, some people like, I'm not ready to deal with conflict. I run from conflict. I don't like conflict, but I want everyone to know if we have built a solid foundation of connecting with the individuals and building those relationships, guess what? The conflict will not feel like anything heavy. So we have restorative. Now let's look at restorative circles. We have GTKY circles, get to know you circles, and restorative circles. When you hear restorative circles, you're probably going to be looking or thinking about how do we repair harm done? Circles of support and accountability. Or maybe there's celebration circles. Somebody did something, we're celebrating them. There's so many different circle possibilities out there that I don't want us to become limited and thinking, oh, we're doing this restorative circle. You can call it a circle. It doesn't have to have a restorative in front of it or behind it. And it's not bad if it is restorative. So many people have a bad taste in their mouth when they hear the word restorative because they think, oh, we're just going to talk to the student and then they're going to go back to class. No, it's for everyone. It's teaching one another about how we want to be treated, how I'm choosing to make things right if I've harmed someone. It gives us an opportunity to sit and be heard without interruption. That's the most powerful part. Many students come to school and don't get an opportunity to speak and not be heard. Think about having a conversation, and I can speak personally from this. My son and his dad had some challenges of really understanding one another. And so I did my very first circle with them. And my son said something very powerful. He said, for once, I felt like the weight of the world was lifted because I can finally say what it is that is on my mind and my heart without being shut down with someone else speaking over me. His dad said, for once, I really got to hear my son's need. So restorative circles allows us an opportunity to get to know one another, to hear without interruptions. It is powerful.
Wow. So I'm glad, and looking at the comments just to keep everybody in the conversation. Yeah, a lot of people appreciate that distinction in terms of just for clarity. So the focus for us will be circles. That's who you are. That's the name that you carry. And I've heard you say that one of the reasons that circles are such a powerful tool for teachers is because they allow the teachers to know their students on a deeper level. But students also simultaneously get to know their teachers on a deeper level. So I know we talked about this in a little bit in the past, but now in this context that I'm now at circles, why does that matter?
It matters because we make assumptions about each other that aren't true. I want you to imagine walking into a room and you see these individuals and there's a man with a cowboy hat on and you're thinking, all right, could absolutely be nothing I have in common with him. right? But when you take the time to walk over and have a conversation, all of that changes. It allows us to see that we really have more in common than we thought, because we're in a space where I'm hearing you. I'm present. I'm being intentional about holding space for you, not trying to correct what you're saying, not trying to uh, give insight or evaluate your response, but I'm allowing you to be who you are and speak what you have to say. And that allows me to see, wow, I have something in common with that individual. I feel the same way about things sometimes. So being in that circle space opens the door up to, my teacher also has some of the same life experiences that I'm experiencing right now. That that anxiety goes down for that student. And it feels like, all right, I can connect with that teacher. That teacher hearing that student already making an assumption, right, about the student, now gets to hear their truth and realizes, wow, this student that I have challenges with, I have more in common with him or her than I realized. So the power in circle is allowing us to see we really are more alike than we are different.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And
Yes.
and again, as adults, man, we could learn so much about that because we think we are so different from one another, and just so many just differences in factions, etc., between adults. When if we had those opportunities to come together and talk, we may find we got a lot in common here. And I just
Always, I always say, if we come together and talk, I sit in circle and I'm intentional in listening to students, not trying to evaluate their response. And I think if we, as adults, if we could just take one step back and trust kids, they will guide us to where we need to be and what we need to do to support them and their success. And I say that because a lot of times it's us telling them what they need. But if we trust them, we connect with them and have that conversation, they're going to tell us exactly the type of learner that they are. They're going to tell us exactly what they need so they can be successful. We got to trust them. That's a hard thing to do, though.
Yeah, you gotta trust them. It's 12:04 Eastern time. Let me say real quick, folks, Denise Holliday is an author, but her book is being revised. So because I know a lot of y'all gonna want that book right now, but you can't get it right now. But put that book on the screen for us as the original Classroom Circles. And so you're one of the co-authors. Is that how that
I'm one
works?
of the co-authors, and the other author is John Whalen. John Whalen.
Okay.
Ed 311 is where you will be able to get the book.
Say that again, that last part.
Ed 311 is where you'll be able to get the book when it's revised.
Okay. So
Ed 311.
well, when it's ready, y'all, I'm gonna post it, and you can get a copy, and I'll remind you of this session and all that good stuff. And also, what I do at midday, at the midway point, the AP and New Principals Academy is sponsored by the Assistant Principal Identity, protecting your leadership mindset, fervor, and authenticity. You can get it wherever books are sold, but you can go to Amazon and get yourself a copy today. Back to our academy. Denise, climate and culture are huge areas of the work I do. But not only are they huge areas for the work I do, I believe that with every fiber of my being, that a school cannot be optimally successful if the climate of the building is toxic, if the culture of the building is toxic. So I want to ask you this. Talk to us about the correlation between restorative circles and the overall culture of a building.
Yes, absolutely. Thinking about the culture of a building, if I don't feel safe and I don't feel like this is a sense of belonging, of a place where I belong, guess what? I know as a student, I was that kid. It was the foolishness I did. I'm going to make sure that either I'm getting everybody worked up. Um, I used to think every morning when I came to school, how can I make her cry today? That was third grade.
Mm.
I had a third grade teacher who refused to acknowledge that what she saw on my face that wasn't there the day before, and she chose to ignore it, that moment began to form the student I became in that classroom. So, was I all over the place? Was I um, a disruption? Absolutely. Did I feel like that was a place where I belong or that she wanted me there? No, because you know what she told me? You're never going to amount to be anything. So I don't even know why you come to school.
Mm.
I don't know why you come to school. And I remember thinking, all right, well, is that an okay for me to not come to your class? And so thinking that classroom climate and culture was like a disease to me, because not only did I get it from her, then I got the meddling from the students. It was like she gave them the okay to bully me because she did, right? I didn't want to be there. I didn't feel like that was anywhere that I belonged. And that began to form the student that I became.
Mm.
It did.
Wow.
So it's like, if you're not going to notice my pain, I'm going to make you feel my pain. And I see so many of our babies having that same experience. And as I went through school, that experience was with a lot of my teachers, a lot of them. And I think they get the word, right? Of what type of student I was in their class, and they pass it on to the next teacher. And guess what? The next teacher has that same mindset about me. There's no way I could win. So guess what? I'm going to make your life miserable. I'm going to make your life miserable because you refuse to see me. When we get an opportunity to come to circle and be in circle with one another, we are all seen.
Mm.
We all matter. And we build up that confidence, and to have the choice to pass or not pass. It allows, whoo, it allows students to see each other, to think twice about bullying. It allows teacher to see that student in a different light, because what they might share in circle, they may not share one-on-one with that educator. We have to stop making assumptions about students, and we have to be willing to commit to get to know them and connect. I had a student, he would call me the B word, throwing desks, throwing chairs. And I would say to him, I don't care how many chairs you throw, I still love you.
Mm.
Just because you're throwing this chair, that's not going to change my love for you.
Mm.
And as he went on, those things began to change. They began to subside, because he felt like, she wants me here. I belong here. I'm loved. Even our own children, our staff, think about that teacher who feels disconnected from those on the staff. Always say, we have no idea what they're experiencing or what they have going on in their life. But pride will take us out because I don't trust you enough to share. Guess what? I've been up all night taking care of my mom, but I'm in a space, I'm on a campus where I don't feel like the ones around me care about me, or I feel like my voice has been stolen, or I allow them to steal my voice. So I'm just going to come to work and just do what I have to do. And we all know that's not what's best for you or kids. Find your voice, regain it, give voice to someone else. When I say give voice to someone else, I mean take the time to sit and hold space, check in on them. If you notice something different about an educator or a student as they come in, check in with them. Let them know that you see them and that they belong. That makes the biggest difference, to know they see me. I do belong here. And sitting in circle with adults and students allows us to connect on the things that we really share commonalities with.
You know, Denise, as I listen to you, but also observe you and the emotions that came out on a couple of those videos, and as I see throughout our conversation this morning, it reminds me of myself as a speaker. And some folks who have heard me have experienced me having an emotional breakdown, or I don't want to call it a breakdown, just shed some tears, and I have to get myself, I have to regroup before I can continue with a presentation. It just happens, but it doesn't happen with every audience. It's an audience that I'm really clicking with, I really love, and and all that kind of stuff. So I want to ask you this question, which was semi off topic, but it's happening in real time. So I'm just curious, and I didn't want to wait until we're off camera. When that happens to you when you're training, and let me preface this by saying this: I don't apologize when I cry. I just say, give me a moment. and then I'll be all right. But I do not say I'm sorry. Now, with that said, I have to assume that this happens when you train. What's your response to yourself and your audience?
My response is I give myself grace. And I just allow myself to be, right? Like, I let them know, hey guys, I'm just keeping it 100. The emotion came up, so you get to receive some of that. And that emotion comes up often because I can see an individual sitting, listening to what I have to say, and it's hitting them. It's hitting them. I begin to see the tears well up in their eyes, which says to me, there's a possibility that them hearing what I have to say will allow them to regain their voice. It's something that they needed. I'm feeding something that they needed.
Yeah.
And I have no shame in shedding a few tears. And I'll say this, I used to be really hard. I used to think tears is a sign of weakness.
Mhm.
But today, as I went through my healing process, tears in front of others is a sign of your strength, your courage, and your bravery to be authentic and who you are on that stage in that moment.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I'm glad I asked you that. I love it. Let's go. So to take the question I gave you with climate and culture, now let's flip it. Is it safe to say that restorative circles, if there's a correlation between earnest implementation of circles and a decrease in behavioral infractions in a building? If so, talk to me about
Absolutely.
that.
Hands down, it is. And let me tell you why. Because I'm connected to you, right? Because I know some of your struggles, because I felt empathy about something that you said, or I felt connected about something you said because I went through something similar. So then I'm going to be less likely to do the foolishness because I don't want to disappoint you, right? Because I see that you care enough for me to speak my truth. So guess what? This is a safe place for me. So I know that if I'm in this classroom, I belong here. My teacher pours into me. So does my classmates. But I also know that Johnny, right, is going through a lot at home right now. And the last thing he or she needs is for me to be bullying him or her, right? So I'm going to step back on the bullying that I was doing because now I know their story. I'm connected because I see them now as human. We have a hard time seeing one another as human, especially students to the educator. The students think, oh, we come to school, we do this all the time, we're robots. And the last thing they want is a robot. They want to know that you're human, that you feel, that you care, and that you're willing to do what is necessary so that they can become a better version of themselves if that's what they choose.
Yeah.
We foster that in them. Yeah.
You know, there's a leader that's listening to you. Every word you just articulated, they've been listening since we came on this morning, and they're saying, okay, I hear the passion in Circle Mama. They're saying, I want to do this because we don't have, this is not a part of our reality. This is not in our school. We don't have circles in our school. We don't have restorative practices in our school. We're suspending kids. We're doing all those kinds of things, putting them in detention, all those kinds of things. So here's my question. I got quite a few to still ask you. So y'all, you know, we gonna exhaust this thing, man. How does one go about the preparation for and ultimately launching circles in their school? And I'm asking you through the lens of a leader now, because I don't, there could be teachers watching, but primarily it's leaders watching. So they want to go back to their school. I like what I heard from Denise Holliday. I want to get this started. Where do I start?
Okay. Now, you heard what I said today, and you want to go back. You're like, oh, I heard Circle Mama. She's so passionate. She does circle. Look, let me speak to the people. Don't you dare go back to your campus right now on Monday and do a circle. Let me tell you what you need. And that's happened. Oh, circle is amazing. I sat in circle. I can do this. And then they go off to facilitate a circle without any proper training, and we cause harm. So the proper training is essential. It's key. We can't go into something not having the proper training of what that process is, why we do it, how we do it, all of the pieces that's connected with it, making sure that we understand that we're going to be committed to this. It may take a little longer, right, than we expected. But if you're going to commit, truly committing, and the only way to commit is to be properly trained, number one. But before we go into circles, we have to be working on building those relationships first, right? We can't restore something that we don't have. So if I'm not connected to you, and then something happens and you're planning to restore that, well, we don't have anything. I have no respect for you. I don't feel any kind of way if we don't make things right because we're not connected. So first, we have to take the opportunity to provide opportunities for our students to get to know one another, for us to get to know our students, and for our students to get to know us. But hands down, training is key, because we can cause harm if we try to go in, facilitate a circle. It is a game changer. But we have to know the process of what circle is. We have to get that training before we bring it to our schools.
And folks, that's a good segue for me to say, The training comes from a person such as our guest today. So Circle Mama is the one to bring in. So before I go to the follow-up question, how did they get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch with us. Our website is National Educators for Restorative Practice. There's a
.org?
nedrp.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I just forgot about that. I'm still passionate on thinking. Like I want to make sure we're straight. Like, look, training. But you know what we can do before we bring in the circles? We can continue to connect with kids. We can have fun opportunities where they feel seen. We can provide opportunities for them to have positive interactions with one another. We can let our hair down. When I say connect, we do what we call a 2-minute connection. And that's a whole group stand and share. Well, we're going to ask one question, and it's going to be a fun question, not around academics. And kids get to laugh. That allows them to like relax a bit. That anxiety that they have, it goes down because they know, all right, I can do this. He likes the same things I like. Anime is always a big one when students realize their teacher is an anime fan as well. Yes.
Give me that acronym website again. It's
NEDRP.com.
There we go. Let's put it up there.
National Educators for Restorative Practice.
All right. So nedrp.com. Y'all, that's how you get in touch.
Yes.
With the mama and the organization.
Yes.
Right. So nedrp.com. All right, let's go. So how does one go? So now I asked you the question in terms of what we do, how we do it. So my question now, when are restorative circles, when are they appropriate?
Restorative
Doc, let me adjust that question.
Okay.
When are they appropriate is the question, but do I need a situation to arise to have them?
Absolutely not. So that's the idea, is that circles, we're going to do a circle because something has occurred, right? We're addressing an issue. No. We're in circle because we're connecting. It's a way of us connecting with one another, right? Having conversations, discussing, problem solving. Maybe there's something in our classroom that we want to do. We want to decorate, or we're going on a field trip. We can have a circle around that. It is not because something occurred. I visited a school, and they wanted to prove to me, and we had trained this campus, that the students did not want to participate in circle, or they didn't take it serious. So they brought me back to figure out what was going on. So I came back, I facilitated a circle, middle schoolers with their teachers. And I always like to open up my circles with something fun that the kids relate to. So I opened it up with a song. It was a rap song. And the name of the song was Somewhere Out There. And it talked about, will I find love or will I die young? Now, as I was playing that song, you could see the kids' heads bopping. You could see the teacher's eyes rolling, right? Not everybody is into rap music. I get that, right? And but I also like to include students in the process of, maybe do you have a question for this circle that you would like to ask? So one young man I asked, and he was like, sure, I'll ask a question. So I said, I'm going to do my round and then you'll come next. He asked the question, what time is it? The teachers went bananas. They were like, security. They were calling security. And I'm thinking, oh my God, why are they calling security? I think I got the clean version to the rap song. But they made an assumption, right, about the student, that he was not taking it serious because he asked the question, what time is it? Let me tell you what this baby said. This baby said, it's time for me to get my ish together.
Mm.
The next young man said, it's time for my dad to pay some child support. The next student said, it's time for me to stop smoking so much weed. I don't know about you, but I think those babies took that question pretty serious and were very reflective. And so as I sent the teachers away to have an extra break, I kept the students and I wanted to ask them, guys, tell me a little bit about why your teachers are saying you guys don't take circle serious. The student said, because all they want to do is circle about drama.
Mm.
If circles were more like this, we could do it all day long. But they want us to think about, what are you going to do to not come back here? We don't want to be, we know what we did. We don't need it thrown in our face so often. And so thinking about, what you asked, it doesn't have to be about anything. We can just say, hey guys, let's go to circle. Let's discuss this topic. Or let's have a little fun. Let's have a brain break. And yes, can we also discuss issues? Absolutely. Make sure that the class is connected before we begin to go into those deeper issues. Because if they're not, it could go really bad. Thinking about issues, I was on a campus and I was observing a circle, and a teacher asked the question, have you ever been bullied by anyone in this class? This is a circle. And I'm thinking, oh my God, fifth graders, did the teacher just really ask that question? Like what is going on here? So as each student went around and had the opportunity to answer, every student said, no, no, no. It got to one student, and that student said, no. And the whole class yelled, because you are the bully. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what do we have here? So harm now has been caused. That's calling this baby out, right? We set them up because they're not going to share. They're afraid. They're in fear. And I'm thinking, how do I help this teacher recover from this? So it's also the way we ask questions. I asked them this. I said, hey guys, do you like vending machines? And they said, yes. I said, if you could pull anything out of a vending machine to help a bully to stop bullying, what would you choose? Man, the responses that I got. One kid said, I would pull out love.
Wow.
Because maybe the bully doesn't feel like he's loved. Another student said, I would pull out a lunch bunch table because maybe he doesn't have friends. One student said, I'll pull out a snack. Maybe he's hungry. Now, one young lady tickled me because she said, I'd pull out a belt because maybe you need a whooping. And I was thinking, all right, she's speaking her truth. But when I think about that, to recover from that, when it came to him, he apologized. And he said, when I'm at home, I have to be the adult. I'm taking care of my mom, taking care of my grandmother. I'm feeding my siblings. So when I come to school, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I'm taking it out on you guys. And I'm sorry. So exactly what those students said and pulled out that vending machine is exactly what the baby needed. So it doesn't have to be around a topic, but it can. It could be a celebration circle. It could be a circle of support and accountability. Maybe a student has some challenges. It could be a re-entry circle, how we send students back to their home campus, or maybe they were absent from our campus a while. So many circles, but it doesn't necessarily have to be around something happened or there's a problem.
Love it. Love it. Hey, somebody hit that share button, hit that retweet, hit that repost, tag somebody, hit them Facebook groups up, whatever it is. Let them know we're still here. We're not going to be here too much longer, but we are here right now. Let them know there's somebody out here in the universe, in this leadership realm, assistant principal, aspiring principal that doesn't even know that this exists. They're desperate, they're frustrated, they're discouraged, not knowing that the answers are sitting right here at the AP and New Principals Academy with Circle Mama Denise Holliday. So let them know. Hey Doc, and I call people Doc, so don't mind me. Hey Doc, is there a minimum or maximum number of participants in a circle? Is there an advantageous number? What does that look like?
So, if we're discussing something heavy, we have that connected classroom, right? You're looking at about 25 students. But don't get me wrong, say we're in gym, right? We can do what we call a step-in circle, where we ask that question and they step in if the response applies to them. That could be up to 65 students. But for best practices, right, we want to get to the bottom of some things, or we're staying connected as a classroom. Also, staff. I love it when staff members choose to do staff circles. The principal or leadership are facilitating those staff circles. Looking at, I would say, about 20 people. You don't have to put a number on it. When we put a number on it, we're creating a program, and this is a process.
So if in a staff circle, since I got a leadership audience and a lot of young leaders, a lot of APs who are new to the field in terms of leadership. So if I were to institute a staff restorative circle, what might a topic be off the top of your head?
Off the top of it is celebrating the accomplishments we've achieved as a staff this quarter. Also, what it looks like to be that person that takes the initiative to start something. It could also be looking at, say we have tests coming up, right? Having them to reflect of what type of test taker they were when they had tests, so that allows them to understand where their students might be. Also, working on maybe there is an issue that the staff has and they want worked out. We could definitely facilitate a staff circle with that. Is there conflict between a few staff members? Let's sit down and talk about it. I have done that, and I think it's key to be able to talk those things out instead of letting it pile up. There are so many ways. How are we going to deal with the testing schedule that's coming up? We can circle about that to figure that out, to solve that.
Wow.
So many different ways to incorporate. Maybe there was a situation that occurred on campus that led to trauma for some of our staff members. Definitely, we could circle up around that. We lost someone. Let's process that together and facilitate that circle. So many different opportunities to really feel heard in a circle, and administrators or your leadership facilitating those circles with your staff. Maybe you're celebrating the hard week, right, that your staff have had, and we're going to do a staff circle. I just want to celebrate you. Yeah.
You making me want to go back to the principalship, and because obviously I hadn't done this, and this sounds like something that would be invaluable to the staff, for the staff, I should say, for the school, and for the students. This is this great stuff. I'm almost done, Doc. What are some guidelines that we should be aware of as it relates to restorative circles?
Yes, some guidelines. Really speaking from the heart, right? When we're in circle, speaking your truth. That goes back to finding your voice, and giving voice to the voiceless, speaking your truth, keeping it 100, listening from the heart, listening for understanding without judgment. That's key, right? Listening for understanding without judgment, honoring the talking piece and the person who holds it. So thinking about whoever has that talking piece in that moment, that's the person that has the floor. But I think we who are listening has the most important job, and that's listening to that person who has a talking piece. The other one is honoring confidentiality. We always say what's said in circle stays in circle, but there's no guarantees. Now, with that being said, we have to be honest with our students so that they don't feel as if we betrayed them. So I'm going to tell them up front, anything you say in circle that leads me to believe that you're being harmed or harming someone else, I'm going to share that because I love and care for you. So you have to say that up front so that if something does come out and they share something that is a red flag, they know up front. If we don't let them know that and they share that and then we report it, then it feels like we use that circle to betray them. We lost that trust.
Yeah.
We don't want that to happen. So let them know up front. But students are pretty intelligent. They know what to share with who is in that circle. They know I'm not going to share this now because I know that person can't be trusted. But then I always say, sometimes we're so excited about our experience in circle that we want to go share that with someone else. You can share your experience, but we won't share the stories of others who spoke. So they can share, oh my gosh, I heard this and it made me think about this. It made me want to be better at this. They can share their experience. We just won't share the story of that person who told it. And that's just honoring confidentiality. Those are a few of those guidelines, but it's key as a community that we talk about what other guidelines do we want present in circle. This is a community thing. I don't get to just decide on my own. That's not what circle is about. Circle is about community coming together and thinking about what do we want to see as a community, as a guideline. So we're having conversation. What's something you might need? Someone may say no cell phones in circle. All right, we're going to list that, right? As a community, we decide. There's no hierarchy in circle. The circle facilitator is the one who comes up with the questions, find the space, who's asking the questions. But the way we operate in circle comes from the community, and we decide that together.
I love that. That's powerful. You know, it begs a question. When I'm speaking with leaders, when we're talking about just welcoming students into a building, and I'll say to them, that person on that door is the first contact. You don't want somebody on there that's grumpy, that's cranky, this not going to have that energy when they interact with students as they're coming in the building. You want your most energetic, enthusiastic people on that door to greet students as they come in the building, and hopefully we can get everybody to be that way over time. But I preface my remarks, my question with that for this reason. Leading a circle in terms of an adult. Can anybody in the building lead a restorative circle? Knowing that person that I'm talking about that I don't want on the door is in the classroom?
Let me say this. Anybody could lead a circle, but what is that going to look like?
Yeah.
What harm will it cause, or what impact will it have? There are some people that it's just in them, right? It's in them to want to hear from others. For some, it's not. There's this, some feel very uncomfortable being in that space, right? Because they feel like they're being exposed, right? And when we worry about being exposed, that means that we are not allowing for our best self to show up. Because I feel uncomfortable about this. Um, anybody could lead a circle, but not everybody should facilitate a circle. Let me say that.
Okay. And I got one more, y'all. Then we're gonna go to our rapid fire BAM questions. Can a student lead a circle?
Ooh, yes. Let me tell you, some of the most powerful circles I have sat in came from a student facilitating it. That's the ultimate, right? It's to see our babies go into that leadership role, to see them sit down, planning that circle, asking those questions that's getting their peers to think outside of their comfort zone, but also reaching for growth. And the way they present those circles, absolutely. Like I said, I always want to include students and part of the process of facilitating circles. Absolutely. That's what you want to see. I think there's a few, I may have a few out there where students are facilitating circles and I'm sitting in them. And that's when I learn the most.
Yeah.
I learn from them so much. I learn how to just be in that moment, how to be relaxed, um, how to not overthink or allow that clutter to get in my head. Because when they step into that role, oh, it's such a gift to see students take that on. Yes, we empower them when we say to them, I want you to co-facilitate, or I want you to facilitate this circle. That's the game changer right there. Now, that's when our babies really find their voice and will never lose it.
Wow. Well, let me tell you before we jump into these rapid fires, you said that you want the experience to be so amazing that it feels like a gift that they in turn want to give to someone else. And I don't have to say I hope that's what this was. I know it is. I've been, I'm host asking questions, but I'm engineer looking at all these comments as well, and I see what's happening here. So before we wrap up, let's go to these BAM impact questions. What these mean is that it's just a one word or one sentence answer. If you feel yourself getting ready to insert a comma, you know you've gone too long, right? So it's right. So let me clear the screen. Here we go. 20 questions. Is education on the right path for underserved children in America?
No.
Are you optimistic about the educational prospects for the masses of Black and brown students in America today?
Yes.
Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
Woo. It's possible.
Does Denise Holliday's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Absolutely.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
It'd be the same.
Why do you continue to do this work?
It's necessary.
Within the work that you do, what particularly fires you up about it?
The connections.
What do you, given again the work you do, what do you absolutely love about this work?
Seeing the light bulb go off.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
There's nothing I dislike.
What has been your greatest victory in this work thus far?
I found my voice.
What has been your greatest mistake in this work thus far?
Greatest mistake. I take the mistakes as growth, learning opportunities.
I love it. What has been your greatest challenge in this work?
People with wrong intentions.
Mm. Who inspires you in the work that you do?
The students.
What are you reading right now? Book, blog, article, tweet, anything?
Tweets.
No problem. What book would you recommend for our viewers? There it is.
Classroom Circles.
Circles. We're going to talk more about that in a second, too. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet in this work?
More healing.
More healing. Are you satisfied with where you are professionally right now?
No.
What could you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors?
Kick them down.
What could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
Have a conversation with a student.
I love it. And last one, if Denise Holliday, Circle Mama, was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Love. This is what it would say. She loves you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
There it is. I know that's your expression too. That's your motto. Listen here, Denise, this was outstanding, phenomenal, amazing. You may notice in the thread all these emojis. This is how we celebrate and applaud our guests. So folks,
I can't see them.
You can't see them. Yeah, it's a million of them. Hey, y'all, keep them emojis coming. And for those of you who are not aware, if you enjoyed the session, if it resonated, if you found it beneficial, if you feel that it adds value to the work you do, then let Denise know. Put those emojis on whatever platform you're watching us on, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Let her know. Let me know that today's session was beneficial for the work that you do. And let me get my emoji. My emoji is a huge bat. Baseball bat to go along with my Negro Leagues jersey. The Newark Eagles.
Hey.
Grand slam. Hit it out the park. You came to bat 4 times, which is normal in baseball. So you had 16 runs with 4 grand slams. And the emojis just keep coming. They keep coming, y'all. Yeah, I love it, man. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Once again, let them know how they can reach you.
Yes, you guys give me a follow on Twitter at Circle Mama. That's MAMMA. Also, you can email me at circlemama@nedrp.com. I'm also on Facebook at Denise Circle Mama Holiday. That's 2 L's. Reach out. Show me some a I want to leave you guys with this. If I just have to share a piece right here. You know, it wasn't until I was in 9th grade that I was approached by an educator who greeted me with "Good morning, how are you?" And I remember, cursing him out, telling him to get out of my face. And then I walked off. But you know what he did? He did absolutely nothing. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't hold our students accountable when they're disrespectful. What I believe is that he saw a pinhole of light in me I didn't even see in myself. And so the next day he stand in that very same place and said the same thing. "Good morning, how are you? I'm glad to see you." What began to happen is he began to pour into me. He began to speak life, positivity, and goodness all over me. He made a recommendation that I should try out for cheerleading because I got along with all the students. And I remember thinking cheerleading, that's for girls. I was a tough one.
Mm.
But you know what? I began thinking cheer. I didn't think that I deserved to champion anyone. But he did. And I tried out and I made it. If it wasn't for Mr. Starling, you guys wouldn't be meeting me today.
Wow.
I would be dead or in prison. You may have some babies on your campus or even teachers that seem like there is no light in them. You have the ability and the power to deposit and to pour into them so that they may see who they really are. So I say to you, when you see those students that are challenging and you're ready to tap out and give up, I want you to think of Circle Mama and know you have the ability to take that Niecy and turn her into a Denise.
Mm.
Don't give up on them.
Mm.
They need us. They don't know. Let's fight for our babies. Let's let them know that they are worthy and deserving of all things good. I love you guys. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it.
That's right, man. I love it. Denise, I thank you for blessing the platform, people that tune in every week with all this powerful information. And I can't wait for the revised edition of the book. And I'll make sure that everyone knows, and I'll put it on the screen with whoever my guest is at the time, and let them know. Matter of fact, we'll call you back and let you come on for a few minutes while I have a guest or a solo, and just start off the broadcast with the discussion about the book. So we'll do that. So whenever it's ready, do me a favor, stay on until I go off. When I go off, stay there for me, so I just want to do my rundown here. Hey, y'all, appreciate you. Week 179, glad you came out. And I know some of y'all got that game on. I'm getting ready to do the same thing. Colorado, I don't know what the score is. Don't tell me either, right? Join me next week, week 180. That's another milestone. 180. I got 3 principals from different parts of the country. You got Jamila Hudkirk, Dr. Casey Shaheed, and Kateria Beasley Payton. We're going to have 3 of them on here, 3 principals. So I'm talking leadership, variety of different things about leadership. I haven't come up with a topic yet. I'm not there yet, but it's going to be powerful because I know the 3 of them. Next week, Facebook Live, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt. Create and Educate, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, 10:30. Myself, 10:55. Josh Tovar, Dean Packard, Sunday night, 7 o'clock. These are all Eastern times with Unlock the Middle. And then Village Leadership Group with Dr. Roz Gaskins and her sister, Coach Williams, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock. I'm keynoting the ASCD conference, ASCD Leadership Summit, October 13. Go to ascd.org. and register. I'll be in Grapevine, Texas. So that's where that's where it will be. I'm the opening keynote speaker, so I'm honored about that. Come on and join me. You know my books. I don't have to put them on the screen. Go to Amazon and cop yourself a few copies of them books. Visit principalkafele.com. Subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy on YouTube so you can watch all 179 sessions, including today's. And then like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy on Facebook. Don't forget, I write a commentary every Sunday. It's a weekend thing. It's not just Saturday. Sunday is the written commentary. And I've been writing them ever since September 1st. So make sure that you get yourself, go to the page and read the commentary that follows the Saturday Academy. And then lastly, your diet, exercise, and COVID-19 precautions. Some of you may have seen me with that picture where I'm rocking that mask again. You know, I kind of got lax with it over the summer. I said, okay, the people ain't sneezing, they ain't coughing on the plane. But now, nah, baby. I'm wearing that mask in the Uber car and on the airplane. I got a lot of shots in me. I'm getting ready to get that booster. Maybe I get it today, right? And, you know, I'm going to do what I got to do. I know some of y'all say, don't take them boosters. Yo, I'm going to take mine, right? So other than that, y'all, appreciate you. Have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. Count to 3 with me. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I see y'all next Saturday. May y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe. And don't forget this morning's monologue. If you didn't see it, rewind and go back to it. You got to be reflective of the growth of that school through how you lead those teachers instructionally. And if that's not who you are, you hurting them kids, man. They suffer. That's it, y'all.